right, get ready to empty your wallet because a $4,000 graphics card just dropped and AMD is reportedly raising prices on everything else. But hey, don't worry, at least we still have FSR REDSTONE that is coming to save us if you have a new card, that is. Oh, and did you know that the internet almost died because of one single file? You know the drill, let's get into it. All right, ASUS has now decided that your gaming rig needs to put you into debt. Customers are finally getting the ROG Matrix RTX 5090, and it costs $4,000, which is twice the price of the Founders Edition card. Now, is this thing worth more than a used car? Let's take a look at it and find out for ourselves. Let's go. That's right, this is quite the interesting shape for a graphics card, and subsequently the box that said graphics card comes in. Check this out. This is the flagship GPU from ASUS. This is the ROG Matrix. Now, Matrix cards of the past have sometimes been water-cooled, sometimes they haven't. On this one, this is not a water-cooled card, but nonetheless, still a very unique design. This is meant to sit atop ASUS's offering of GPUs and really kind of be, as it says here, the flagship GPU for the brand. Let's see what makes it so flagshipy though, shall we? The shape is one thing here. Now, there's something very unique about this. I'm not one to really go into tangents on the phallic shape of things, but this seems to follow suit. Travi's laughing in the corner. He thought it was pretty funny. Some buyers are already unboxing the ROG Matrix Platinum GeForce RTX 5090, even though ASUS has not held a formal launch. Now, this was, I think, back, I want to say it was Computex where we first kind of got preview on this. It hasn't been too long ago, but now these cards are actually starting to make their way out into the public. Early photos show the 30th anniversary card arriving in a huge D-shaped presentation box. Yeah, that's one shape that you could put on here on an article. Inside a standard outer carton matching the packaging ASUS used in its own product shots. Now, in terms of the card, it's the same Blackwell card that you know and love, the 5090. Nothing else too crazy about this card other than the look, design, and obviously you can overclock this as well. It gives you a little bit more headroom. It is listed at $4,000, just a buck shy, $4,000, limited to 1,000 units worldwide, roughly twice the price of that 5090's Founders Edition card. The most important feature here, and a lot of ASUS cards have this already, is that sag detector, which comes in built in with the software on these ASUS cards. Because when you're spending $4,000 now, you better believe that the card needs to be perfectly straight. That's 100%. And at $4,000, you're also leaning into that Blackwell tax very heavily. If you want the best of the best, this is essentially you paying for two mid-range PCs for a single card. Now, this card itself, as I mentioned, it's built around that 32 gigabyte GDDR7 config, 512-bit bus, all that good stuff, same CUDA cores, but the factory overclock is pretty interesting on this. It's got a 2760 megahertz boost clock, and of course, it's got that BTF high power support as well, which can pull up to 800 watts when both of those inputs are used. So 10% more headroom when it comes to overclocking, which is pretty cool stuff. That 800 watts is truly wild. That's enough to run 2 microwaves in a half of a small apartment as well. Circuit breakers beware. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you're looking at picking up this new Matrix card from ASUS, let's see what the comments are saying. That's a very weird older AMD reference card. I actually didn't pick up on that. I mean, it really does look like they took this straight from the old AMD line. Oh, here it is. This is the HD 3870. This is essentially the same shape as this Matrix card. So maybe a little bit of borrowing from designs of years gone by in the past. That's a very astute observation from the comments there. Does D stand for D-bag? Only the best in the comments. Hopefully we can do better on the comments on this video. Let me know what you think about this down below. If you're watching these news videos, my number one hope is that you leave feeling like you learned a little something new. And I mean, that's why they call it the news, right? But let's face it, though, sometimes learning just is not fun. But what if it could be? Well, thanks to the folks over at Boot.dev, it can be fun. Learning can be fun. I've actually covered their site in a previous news story, which is why I'm excited to talk about it once again. Boot.dev teaches you how to code by giving you challenges that teach you the basics of languages like Python and SQL. But instead of yelling, "Me Yambo Zack" at an annoying green owl, you actually get to create real coding projects that you would see in the real back-end programming jobs. And for each project you come across, you aren't just watching a YouTube video or some professor with a headset mic that you can tune out. You're actually getting interactive steps and even AI guides like Boots the Bear Wizard to tutor you and help you understand your fundamentals. Plus, each project earns you XP so that you can track your progress without feeling like you're just ticking a box. The best part is, unlike other learning platforms that are really just trying to squeeze a microtransaction out of you, Boot.dev provides all of their lessons for free to read, watch, and start learning immediately. But if you want to take advantage of their premium features like hands-on custom coding, AI tutors, and other game mechanics, you can use the QR code on the screen or use my code, Zack Shutt, to get 25% off your first entire full year on the annual plan. Huge thank you to Boot.dev for sponsoring today's video. And with that, let's get back into our next news story. You know what? Speaking of expensive graphics cards, AMD is reportedly planning a plot twist that nobody asked for, a GPU price hike. And we just started seeing the RX 9070 XT finally hit its $599 MSRP, and now the party is already over thanks to rapidly rising memory costs. This the end of affordable gaming? Let's find out together. Man, I thought things were just getting good when it came to pricing on GPUs, but as we've talked about before, there are a lot of things affecting pricing. A lot of it comes down to memory, which we'll get into on this article. This is a sad one, boys and girls. AMD is rumored to raise GPU prices just as the Radeon RX 9070 XT finally reaches MSRP. And that is a card that had a pretty phenomenal launch. A lot of people are really loving the 9070 XT. I'm sure some of you even watching are using that card, but this is a reaction, as we're seeing all across the industry, to memory prices increasing. You are seeing more and more things be affected by these memory prices, and that will continue, in everyone's best estimation, into next year as well. It's not just RAM. When we hear RAM prices are going up, let me tell you, it is not isolated to the memory in your computers. It's the other things that use memory modules as well, which are things like graphics card. Check this out. This is a new post on Chinese Board Channel's forum claiming that AMD has notified partners about, check this out, a second price increase for its GPUs. This time, this is tied, as we have just been saying, to higher memory procurement costs. The post says that AMD already applied a small adjustment around October that did not change retail prices. In the next hike, guess what? Larger, and it's going to cover, and this is where things get really sad, all models. So not even just the 9070 XT, but this would presumably affect everything in AMD's lineup as well. Context on this one, DRAM, heavy strain. You've got AI demand that in bulk orders that are eating up a lot of this supply from large buyers. Recent reports are showing that DDR5 module prices 60% up since September, with 32 gigabyte server modules, which I know all of you are buying up left and right, $149 to $239, and broader DRAM 170%. We're talking year over year, just continuing to compound when it comes to price increases and affecting GPUs as well. I feel like this is just when we thought things were safe to jump back into the graphics card market, and then you have the DRAM shark that is coming along and biting all of us. PC building, for some reason, always feels like a horror movie. There's something that's wrong. You can't get GPUs, memory prices going up, graphics card prices going up. There's always something. It just depends on what time of year it is, and now it's all kind of converging, which is going to get really, really scary here. I'm kind of fearful of. AMD strategy, obviously, they want to keep prices low, but that has been killed based on this article because of the AI boom. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can fight the AI segment sucking up all of, whether it's memory or GPU processing power. It is unstoppable. It's the number one customer out there. So where does that leave enthusiasts like us? Well, it leaves us watching videos like this where we're hearing about the fact that we can't get graphics cards at a reasonable price. Here we are. We're in it together, so strap on in, hit subscribe. We're going to be here for a while. Let's see what the comments are saying on this. I'm sure everyone's really excited about this. What a slap to the face. Indeed. Beginning of the century, you could buy PC parts and the next day they could be 30% cheaper. Today, you can buy parts and the next day... See where he's going with this? That's so true. I've almost forgot about that. I forgot about the time when you would buy PC parts or you'd buy a new PC and you'd be like, I'm scared to buy new stuff because I know in a few months it'll be out of date and it'll go down in price and I will have wasted money. That seems like a fever dream at this point with everything that's going on. It's absolutely nuts. And the rule of PC gaming, the number one rule in 2025 is this, and I'm going to leave you with this on this story. If you see a GPU at MSRP, buy it immediately. It's a fleeting moment that just might never come again. And then this last comment here, we'll round it out with this. C'est fini. Is that right? Is that the French pronunciation? I think that means we're You know what, guys? It's not all bad news over at AMD. Let's be a little lighthearted here. They just dropped the official premiere date for their next generation upscaling technology set to compete with NVIDIA's DLSS 4. Now, the good news, it sounds awesome. The bad news is if you don't have the newest cards, you might be out of luck. So let's see what REDSTONE is bringing to the table together as a family, a Microsoft family. Let's take a peek. That's right. AMD has announced FSR REDSTONE. This is premiering on December 10th. My goodness gracious, that is coming up. That's just a few weeks away. away. Well, what do they have in store? We're going to learn together. Check it out. This is almost a year after its announcement at Computex 2025. Not quite, but close. And days after its initial debut in Call of Duty Black Ops 7, AMD's VP announced on Twitter that the company will have its first major event for FSR Redstone on December 10th. Now, this is where things get interesting. This is going to be limited to the 9000 series. So we just talked about the 9070 XT. If you're one of the people watching that has that beautiful card, guess what? You're eligible to experience what's going on with FSR Redstone. This is the name, for those who don't know, for AMD's next generation of graphic technologies. Who are they competing with? Their friends over at NVIDIA. This is to compete with DLSS 4. Redstone encompasses several AMD technologies. You've got ML-based upscaling, frame generation, neural radiance caching, and ML-based ray generation. Now, AMD already has ML-based upscaling and frame gen available to 9000 series graphics cards, but that's through FSR 4, where what's new are the two latter technologies: neural radiance caching and ray regeneration. These two technologies, just so you guys know, it mimics NVIDIA's neural radiance fields and ray reconstruction. We've seen a lot of demos of NVIDIA talking about ray reconstruction, radiance fields, a lot of them at CES that you might remember from keynotes. Neural radiance caching speeds up path tracing by predicting indirect lighting assets and storing this information in a cache. Ray regeneration regenerates pixels that could not be accurately traced in a ray traced scene. So scenes with ray traced reflections and things like that. It's actually pretty cool, and it looks awesome too. RX 9000 only confirmation. That's the red pill, blue pill moment of the week. You either upgrade now or you miss out on some of this cutting edge upscaling if that's what you're into. And really, if we think about it competitively, this is a smart competitive move from AMD, making their most advanced features exclusive to new hardware. There's a trade-off there too, right? You want to make sure that old card owners still get some premium experiences and stuff like that, but this is really made for new hardware owners. So no free lunch for owners with older cards at this time, at least. We'll see if that changes as time goes on. December 10th, that's the day we find out if AMD truly can challenge DLSS's dominance with their own deep learning-based graphical wizardry, if you will. Let's see what the comments say. I'm sure everyone's very excited. Let's make things confusing. FSR 1.0, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 3.0, 3.1, 4.0, and now FSR Redstone. Afterwards, it'll be FSR 2027, then FSR XTX, then FSR Next Gen, then FSR 9.1 for some reason. I hope I'm wrong. Listen, it's messy when it comes to tech naming in this industry specifically. I mean, even when the 9000 series came out, people were like, what's going on? It is confusing, but we're along for the ride. No matter what it's called, if it's cool at the end of the day, I'm sure we'll figure out how to pronounce it. Check it out. What else we got on here? Don't worry, they will find a way to milk the consumer. The next thing will be called the Red Wallet. I think AMD's been doing a pretty solid job, actually, when it comes to product and making it match with what consumers are looking for the most part. Every GPU manufacturer has gone down the road of 8GB cards, and that's a cardinal sin in and of itself in some instances. But I think overall, AMD's done a pretty dang good job, especially with this latest generation on the 9000 series. Let me know where you guys sit on this in the comments down below. Listen, if you were on the internet on Tuesday, and listen, who isn't these days? A giant chunk of the internet went dark, and the culprit wasn't a DDoS attack or a big old cyber war. It was one single, slightly too large file on Cloudflare servers. You can't make this stuff up. It was the digital equivalent of tripping over a power cord. So we're gonna look at how one file nearly broke the entire world. And you're coming with me. Let's go. That's right, big old internet outage, and it's always Cloudflare, and sometimes it's DNS. It's been DNS in the past. It's been a whole host of things. Well, now this global internet outage that recently happened was caused by a single file. And we did a video script that I've been trying to get out on our channel on Shorts about Cloudflare's lava lamps. And the timing just hasn't been right because they keep screwing up. So they're keeping content back from you. So you can blame Cloudflare for me not dropping just a banger of a video on their lava lamps in their lobby. I digress. The single file on Cloudflare servers caused a catastrophic error, which knocked out several major websites. What major websites? Pretty much all of them. Cloudflare, obviously one of the biggest DDoS and security providers on the internet. Major outage. It knocked out several sites. You've got X, OpenAI, and even, and this is where things get really sad, some McDonald's branches were knocked out across the globe. Its chief technology officer has since apologized for the massive error. Its co-founder released details on the company blog of what actually caused this outage, and that is where things get interesting. So you go over and you look at like, okay, this is what the co-founder is saying caused it. This is a quote directly from the blog. The issue is not caused directly or or indirectly by a cyber attack or malicious activity. That's good news. No cyber terrorists trying to take down the internet. Instead, it was triggered by a change to one of our database system's permissions, which caused the database to output multiple entries into a feature file used by our bot management system. That feature doubled in size. The larger than expected feature file was then propagated to all machines that make up our network. So this wasn't a hacker. This wasn't some malicious activity as we would normally associate with the types of people trying to take down Cloudflare sites. No, this was caused by a big file, essentially. Big file, take down internet. Now they're talking about other alternatives to Cloudflare too. Like you could use Blazing CDN. Cloudflare runs the internet. So really like this, if anything, shows you how much control Cloudflare has over your favorite websites and how just one thing happens, the whole internet is down. Are there monopolies like this? Could we call this a monopoly almost in the internet? It kind of is. So many big sites, I mean, are using Cloudflare. It's crazy. Big file breaks internet. That's what happened here. The irony here is absolutely golden. You've got a major security company getting taken down by file too big. It's like trying to send somebody an image on Discord. You're right. Yeah, it's 100%. I mean, imagine being the engineer that has to explain to your CTO that your single config file brought down nearly a third of the freaking internet. That's what we call a career-defining moment over at Cloudflare. Guys, let me know if the Cloudflare outage impacted you. Were you impacted by the McDonald's ordering system? I love getting stuff on the app and just showing up, they bring it out to your car. It's great. Let me know in the comments down below. That's gonna do it for today. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We're doing a bunch of new types of videos on the channel. One in particular that I'm really excited about. We're doing like a podcast every week. Week before, we talked about the new Steam devices. You can check out that video on the channel. We have a new one. It'll be coming out here tomorrow, day after, where we're going to be talking. What are we talking? Oh, we're talking about Ramageddon. So if you've been following the Rampocalypse of sorts, this would be a good episode for you to check out. We're having a lot of fun making them. Hope you get the chance to see them, and you probably will never see them if you're not subscribed. So I would highly recommend you do that. As always, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe.
I've been told to tell you to subscribe.